underway in a moment.
Yes, so will Hasu be going for the all kill? Everyone wants to know. Well, he is going for the all kill. Will he get the all kill? Is what everyone wants to know, as it is gonna be Bunny versus Hasu here on Metalopolis. And every single time I say Bunny, I think I'm gonna think of the Warcraft 3 shoutcaster as opposed to our player here. So why don't you introduce the players for us this game?
Looks like on the western edge of this map, we've got vVv Hasu up 3-0 so far, looking for the all kill, spawning as the green Protoss. And in the southern region, close by air, we've got Lil Bunny Fufu, the player from Underrated Gaming, their last player, their true anchor, trying to come in here and stop the all kill. His team is down 3-0. He needs to win this one and actually the next 4 to bring it back for Underrated Gaming, but everything starts with this one game here, Cody. He's got to focus one game at a time. Sort of cliche to say, but he's got to be thinking ZVP, what do I do? How do I win this one?
Alright, so Hasu setting up a pylon close to the ramp off over here. Much more of an old school build, I would say, where he's going to be building a gateway and a cybernetics core to prevent any serious Zergling run-bys. Also, Hasu opting to do a scout after the pylon, so he will quickly find where his opponent is in just a moment, as the Overlord will be getting into position as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of old school to forge fast expand on this map, especially in this position. It's sort of tough. It leaves you open to any sort of different early pool timings. Like if he had put his first pylon on the low ground and he didn't scout Bunny very quickly, and Bunny was doing like a 6 pool, it'd be tough for him. Like I said before, I'd like to see him play a standard game. So he's probably going to be going for the 1 gate with the cybernetic score, expanding either off of 1 gate or maybe even going up to 3 gates, getting out some sentries and expanding off that.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen now. There is a probe just wandering around over here at the natural expansion. It's not going to be able to stop a drone from growing up and being a hatchery for quite some time. As Bunny opened up with an extractor pool, he'll have about 100 gas and 100 minerals as that spawning pool is completed. Train up 2 to 4 Zerglings and also get a queen to make sure Bunny doesn't fall behind in production, as a drone now looking to perhaps shoo away this one probe. The probe just wandering around over here. We'll see whether or not Hasu does spot a hatchery go down.
Yes, the hatchery going down after pool, that's definitely a safe play, but he is going to be stopped by the pylon. Like you said, the Overlord in position, going to try to follow the probe a little bit, make sure it can't get in there and start placing down cannons or pylons behind the mineral line. Back in the base of Hasu, though, the Overlord for Bunny has seen the assimilator, so he knows it's relatively standard play, not going to be that low ground pylon action that we often see. But Hasu coming in with the score block, that's going to be really annoying for Bunny.
Yeah, Cybernetics Core, one of those buildings that builds relatively quickly, and also has 1,100 hit points, so the Zergling's trying to poke away at it, and this is really just buying a lot of time for Hasu. You can see that the hit points are now down into the hundreds. It should get cancelled, and hopefully it'll get cancelled, yes, so only 37 resources lost to delay a hatchery. A good, I would say, 40 seconds, and now a Stalker making his way across the field.
And there's not much else that Bunny can do. His opponent didn't go for the fast base, so he can't throw down that immediate third. A lot of Zerg players, if the opponent is forge fast expanding, will just take their third and say, you know, I'll get down my natural as my third hatchery, not a big deal. But with his opponent opening off of 1 base, he really can't do that. Hasu now throwing down a 2nd and 3rd gateway. Super safe opening from him. Sentry's coming out, so he's going to have a ton of energy, a ton of force fields to really control any sort of early encounters. Bunny actually did a great job sending a Ling out all across the map. Attack move queued, and he's going to be able to take down the probe for Hasu. So Hasu not going to be able to place down any additional pylons in the early game here until he sneaks out another probe.
All right, Hasu is trying to take down an Overlord. The Overlord needs one more shot. It does get taken down, and Bunny now supply blocked. 32 over 26. It looks like the hatchery will be completed in just a moment, but every unit lost now, including these Zerglings on the ramp as they went to meet and greet a sentry. The sentry does go down, though, and the Zergling gets a little bit of scouting information. Not quite sure who lost more, 6 Zerglings or 1 sentry.
I would say that's a win for the Zerg player. At this point, the Zerglings are already made, so it's a loss of economy, drones, and larva. So to be able to at least sacrifice them to get a little bit of scouting information and take down a gas unit like a sentry, especially, bad situation getting force field there, being able to pick off a sentry, a little win for the Zerg player.
All right, so we'll see what's going to happen now. 4 sentries are down. A proxy pylon, not really a proxy pylon, but a halfway pylon set up by Hasu will be able to warp in reinforcements. It is going to be primarily Stalker and Sentry. There is 1 Zealot at the Xel'Naga Tower. More units still coming in from behind, and this is all being powered off of 3 gateways right now. No additional production buildings, as 2 spine crawlers from Bunny should be able to more than fend off this attack here.
Yeah, but if the constant force field goes down on that ramp, he might actually be able to take on these spine crawlers. There's the force field, and that's going to prevent any units coming down from the main. And Bunny had just finished a big round of drones, so it's just going to be a ton of, actually a lot of units. We've got high ground warp-ins here, and a nice force field going to prevent these lings that were outside from getting in. They will be able to take down that pylon, but I think that Hasu's going to have maybe 1 more force field on the ramp. He's going to take on this this probe line, or the drone line. He's going to try to do as much economic damage as possible. But actually, I think Bunny's going to come out ahead on this one. He does lose about 11 workers, but as a Zerg player, those can be quickly remade. And Hasu's going to lose his entire army. That basically screws up that timing for him. Back at home, he's only got a few sentries left to defend, and the remaining lings going to come across the field with revenge on their minds, and I think they're going to be able to do a ton of damage.
Yeah, this is not looking good. I can already see what's going to happen. The Zerglings are going to try to flood in here, and they're going to be able to do exactly that. Running in, there's a force field. Zerglings unable to get through, and we'll see what's going to continue to happen. The pylons may get taken down, but they are pretty beefy buildings, as more Zerglings in multiple locations trying to come in. The Zealots unable to attack. And it's really going to come down to the probes, as a photon cannon now comes in as well. The Zealots trying to get out on the front side. It looks like they would be able to do exactly that. And now Hasu with only 1 pylon. Both sides trading, and another force field coming in, creating just a nightmare of a choke point for all of these units.
This is really beautiful play by Hasu, as he was really going to be taking a ton of damage there. He limited it so well. What did he lose? Just, maybe a few pylons there, 3 or 4 of them. And then he didn't lose many workers, if any at all. It's 36 harvesters to 29, but at this point in the game, that's basically sort of normal for this matchup. But he's really getting some nice trades here in the last minute or two after losing almost his entire army in the main of Bunny.
Yeah, the only problem right now is that Hasu may feel a little overconfident. He may feel that he actually came out ahead, where economically speaking, he's really not that far ahead. 29 or 33 probes, 37. It is about even, as you mentioned. So at any confidence that Hasu has in his next push, he may be greeted by a much larger army than he expects, since I think Bunny was just able to constantly or more regularly hit his injects, and we are now going into a Spire. So Mutalisk will be coming into play, and those sentries are not very effective against Mutalisk.
They certainly are not. Mutalisk really tough to actually support off of 2 bases in this matchup, so we'll see how much banked gas he's really going to have by the time the Spire comes up. I imagine really only going to be 500 gas, perhaps. So it's going to be tough for him to get a ton of Mutalisks out, and just a few Stalker warp-ins can definitely make it so that those mutas aren't going to be able to do a ton of damage. We do have a third being established for Bunny, though, so if that can get up and running, then this Ling muta force is going to be much, much easier to sustain and do damage with.
All right, the Zerglings are going to clean up the Zealots that were trying to... Well, no, it looks as though... Is the Zealot going to be able to come out ahead? Zealot down to 4 hit points. No, it does get taken down. 1 Zergling is left behind. More Zealots are going to reinforce and try to hold that Xel'Naga Tower. A very important key strategic point, as it does reveal one of the 2 main walkways. The hatchery over here at the 4 o'clock position, about to be completed. It will most likely get 2 extractors up very, very quickly, as we are now also going into a macro hatch. Hasu has a 5 supply advantage, but Bunny knows that the 3rd base has yet to be established.
Yeah, we do have Stalkers being warped in right in time for the mutas coming out. So the mutas are going to swing wide, try to get in here to the mineral line. The Stalker's actually going to be out in front of the bases and behind a lot of Sim City. So if Hasu doesn't pull off these probes immediately, he could take some damage. There goes the pull off. So these Stalkers are going to do their best to defend here, and the probe's getting next to this cannon, hoping to do some damage to just a few number of Stalkers, and we've got a few number of Mutas. We've got more Stalkers being warped in here for Hasu, so not a lot of damage done right there by Bunny. It looks like he's going to be doing a tech switch, as I did see he got up a Roach Warren, an Evolution Chamber as well, so might start on with the, yeah, here comes Roach Speed, and going to do a little bit of tech switch. I like that from him.
Yeah, Bunny doing a little bit of everything at once, getting up Spine Crawlers, getting up Glio Reconstitution, training up Mutalisk, and I don't really know what direction he's trying to go for. It doesn't seem like he's particularly focused, but he wants to make sure he has options at this point, is my guess. He wants to make sure if there's a strong counterattack, he's ready for it. But you also got to remember, every Spine Crawler that he makes is a drone, not mining. So he is now at 56 drones compared to 44. He didn't really get as many probes as he needed to in order to justify the number of Spine Crawlers he has.
And Hasu has got 44, as you mentioned, now 46 probes, so basically perfect saturation for the number of bases he's on. He's going to have Blink finishing in just a moment. He's getting up Templar Archives as well, so maybe we'll see some Archons, and we'll see if he's able to push out with a strong 2-base timing into all these Spine Crawlers by Bunny. As we see more and more being added, he knows his opponent is just on the 2 bases, so he is making sure that he's going to be able to defend against any sort of timing attack. He doesn't have a ton of drones. At this point in a game, in this matchup, 56 drones is nothing. You should have 56 drones by, you know, maybe the 7 or 8 minute mark in this matchup typically, but when your opponent just on those 2 bases and with the trades going on in the early game, he's just sort of struggling to establish his economy.
All right, so we'll see what's going to happen. Both sides, relatively low supply now compared to the meta game. 105 versus 113. Mutalisk now are going to perhaps try to swing wide. It looked like Hasu wanted to establish up a third, but he has no indications of that right now, as he is going into Dark Templars, perhaps taking a play from Rocker's playbook. And if those Dark Templars are able to perhaps take down a hatchery before an Overseer gets there, that would be huge.
Yeah, these Mutas really want to focus down this Dark Shrine. I'm not sure why they haven't yet. Blink Stalker's coming in here to defend, and it looks like Bunny going to try to do as much economic damage as possible. One more Blink could put an end to a lot of these Mutas, though. So Bunny pulling back at the great time. He's now up 64 to 48 Harvesters. He still hasn't killed too many. It's 11 to 13, so gets back into this one a little bit with some economic damage, and more importantly, really preventing Hasu from getting up a third. Hasu's stuck on 2 bases, 17 minutes now. His opponent's been on a third for a while. He's been able to pump a little bit in the way of drones. He's coming out with roaches. Roach speed is finished. 1-1 on the way, along with Burrow and Burrow movement. So Bunny transitioning pretty nicely here. I like his play so far.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not Hasu is going to be able to hit with those Psystorms, and it's going to really come down to the micro of those Psystorms. And even then, what units can he really hit? Mutalisk move far too quickly, and Roaches are far too beefy for that Psystorm to really be that effective. We can see another hatchery coming in here, so Bunny also having up a follow-up plan. In comes a lot of Spine Crawlers. Force fields are being placed down. The Stalkers are slowly just pushing their way in. No transfusions, as the Stalkers are just slowly dealing damage, and now in comes some nice Psystorms as the Spine Crawler army has, or the Spine Crawler wall has pretty much been destroyed.
Yeah, and Bunny, rather than going for a little bit of a counterattack there and taking down economy and making this the last encounter, instead pulls back with this Mutas. I'm not sure if that's the greatest plan. A few more good force fields here, and Hasu's going to be able to take this natural without much of a peek here from Bunny, having to pull up to his third, and Hasu could basically go home at this point and be way ahead. And now we see the Mutas and the Roaches coming in here, and they're going to be able to crush this army. A nice blink backwards, some nice force fields before those sentries all do go down. We've got some Archons morphing as well. We'll see if these Blink Stalkers 1-1, able to take on these Roaches just 1-0 at this point. More reinforcements coming from Hasu. Nice blink micro on his part. He's pushing in here. Bunny's got 17 Roaches on the way. Hasu does have an observer here. He's going to be able to take on these Roaches as they do burrow, and with some great blink micro, I think Hasu's going to be able to take this one. Yeah,
we'll see what's going to happen. Roaches are now coming in from behind. Drones going to come in. Queen's now trying to come in from the back as well. Stalkers engaging the Roaches, pushing back as well. And the Stalkers are just really blinking back and forth really nicely. There is one observer, but the Queen needs to snipe it down in order for the Roach burrow to really make any true difference whatsoever. And the blinking from the high ground to the low ground, preventing any retreat or chase. Nicely played there, and it looks like an Overseer may get taken out. The Overseer getting low on hit points, and now the Roaches once again just pushing back again.
Roach is going to do their best to get reinforcements coming from him from this pylon as well. Bunny doing his best to pull back. He's going to burrow these roaches. He actually got up, you know, he had that macro hatch, so that's what went down for him. The hatchery at the natural still there, so he's working off of 3 bases, almost 4, as he's got the eastern position as well. Hasu basically all in here with 2 bases, gonna do his best to keep pushing. He actually has a lot of resources, needs to continue to chrono boost out more and more units, actually pulling some probes, so might be doing some tanking with these probes. He is all in at this point, 4 bases to 2. He's gonna try to get up this ramp, do the most damage that he can, maybe even pick off the Roach Warren. Could be a huge pickoff for him.
Okay, let's see what's going to happen now. It looks like Evolution Chamber has gone down. Roaches are just trying to fight back up. Probes now going to need to join in on the fight. We'll see how many probes are able to make their way in here. The probes do take 3 shots from a roach in order to get taken down, and that is 3 shots not on a stalker. Probes now making their way up the ramp. A Roach Warren does go down here, and now that means no more roaches will be added, and that means only stock or only Zerglings can be added in this battle, as the stalkers are slowly blinking back and still surviving. The roaches at 1-1, the stalkers at 1-1. The roaches do deal a little bit more damage compared to 0-0, and Hasu may just be able to win this war of attrition, as the drones have not been able to join their way on the fight. It looks like the Spire is going to fall next, and what's going to happen there? There's the GG, there's the well played.
Bunny running out of steam, gives the GG, and Hasu all kills. Underrated Gaming taking them down 4-0, and puts vVv ahead for the win here on Wednesday Night StarCraft.